got slick words and hot topics, catch our sports vibe. Catch our sports vibe. Catch our sports vibe. Catch our sports vibe. We got slick words and hot topics, catch our sports vibe. Catch our sports vibe. Catch our sports vibe. Catch our sports vibe. We out of pocket.
Welcome to Out of Pocket Show, where we talk about today's and tomorrow and yesterday's topics. My name is Big Money Mo.
I'm Peanut, and I'm the show.
I'm Fresh, and I let my actions speak louder than my words.
Well, we have a special guest today. He's a former wide receiver and TV host, Mr. Nate Burleson.
Yeah, Nate, that's my man.
Welcome to the show, Nate. Nice to meet you, sir.
So, Nate, let me introduce you to everybody.
What's up?
Obviously, this is Monique, Gary Payton's ex-wife. That's Mo.
What's up, Mo?
Hey, babe.
This is Fresh at the top in the red, Mr. Kool-Aid outfit.
Go Lions. I'm a Lion fan. Live in Detroit. Go Lions. Yeah, that Lions.
Appreciate you, Nate, for being on the show. The show is simple. We just kind of laugh, joke, we just ask questions. And how it works is if we ask you a question and you feel like, I can't really answer that, you just call out the person so you can say, hey, yo, Peanut, you out of pocket. If I ask the question. So whoever asks the question, you just say that's out of pocket and we move on to the next subject. We've only had one person.
How does it work if no question is out of pocket?
You just keep answering the question. Yeah, it's just regular question.
Well, hold on. I'll be right back. Let me grab All right, let me go and hit this tequila real quick.
Yes, let's go. Let's go.
All right, okay, I see you.
Let's go, Nate.
Hey.
Yeah.
So so how the flow is like, we'll ask you questions or whatever, just about anything pretty much. It'll be sports related, life related, things like that. And then at the end, we have a game where we ask 21 questions. And in the 21 questions, you have 8 seconds to answer each question. No one has got to pass 9. Cedric Zabal's got past 9. Everyone else gets stuck at 4. Not to throw that in your head already, so it gets tough. But we're trying to see who can get to the 21, but nobody has gotten there. But other than that, it's like simple. It might be 30, 40 minutes, however long it takes, but it's just simple asking questions, just a little fun that we do. So,
all right.
Totally up to you. You got it?
I bet. I'm in it. I'm ready to rock, man.
Welcome to the show, Nate. We appreciate you.
Thanks for coming on, Nate. Appreciate it.
Last minute, that's a real dog for you.
No. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, anytime. Come on, anytime.
Okay.
I'll call you if I need you. Okay.
All right, I got you. I'll give you my number.
With that being said, perfect. So I was in Seattle for 13 years. I don't know if you knew that, but did you ever go to the games?
Are we asking these questions? Of course.
Because I don't think we've ever met.
I'm a ball player, so I know we haven't met, but I don't want to sound like a stalker, but I've seen you from a distance. So, and you know this, you live in this space. Just because you were married to a legend, that doesn't mean you aren't one yourself. So most of the women that are married to ball players are legends themselves. So I knew you was a legend a long time ago.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Shit. Here we go. Her head is as big as this whole screen.
You didn't play with the Seahawks.
I played with the Seahawks 4 years, but that was long after like the Seattle Supersonic days. So I was playing with the Seahawks from like 2006 to 2010. But yeah, I'm a town representative. I got the Space Needle tattooed on my body like 3 times.
Nice. So, my boys, I have 3 children, but both of my boys were born and raised in Seattle. So me and my daughter, she's from Oakland, born and raised in Oakland. So we always teasing like, y'all neighbors are not from the Bay. Y'all are from Seattle. Right. And it's so funny. Even though they were raised in Oakland, they got that Oakland blood. It's still not the same. You got to be born and raised in the Bay.
See, the thing about me, though, this is why I identify with everybody from the top to the bottom of the West Coast. I was raised in Seattle, but I spent every summer in San Francisco. My father was raised in the Sunnydale projects. So anybody that knows about San Francisco, there's Sunnydale and there's Hunters Point. So the West Coast bloodlines, they run thick in me. So I'm always going to represent for the West Coast.
Okay. With that being said, I need to know since you are a sports fanatic,
yeah,
you're on. I mean, you know pretty much. I would think about
every sport.
everything.
Every sport.
So tell me this: your top 5 basketball players with the 6th man. Who would you pick? Coming out of Seattle. Coming out of Seattle, though.
Are you talking about coming out of Seattle? We're talking about Seattle athletes?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Seattle
so
athletes.
it can be anybody. Just top 5. If you had to start a team all from Seattle, who would your starting 5 be with your 6th man?
Okay, starting 5, top 5 out of Seattle. I'm gonna start off with Doug Christie, and he was a legend. He was one of the first dudes that came from that Rainier Beach, South Seattle area. So I got to start off with Doug Christie. After that, I'm going with Jason Terry, one of the most accomplished ball players to ever play. And you got to think about it: high school champion, college champion, and also player of the year. And then he went to the league and got that championship with who I believe was
Dallas.
Dallas, right? And then after that, this is where it starts to get a little bit dicey. I'll go with Jamal Crawford because of his longevity.
Yeah.
Jamal was the first one to bring that and1 mixtape vibe to the court, and was really cooking cats. And then got in the league and didn't change his game. And he did that. I mean, up until the bubble, Jamal was on the Nets. So I put him in there. And then after that, as far as athletes, you got to throw in like some football players. I put in Corey Dillon because Corey Dillon, he was a dude from the block, and he went to JC, went to Washington, went there for 1 year and broke every record, and then left and was one of the more well-respected running backs. After that, I'm gonna just keep it a buck, man. I'm gonna put myself in there at number 5. I don't want to put myself at number 1, but at number 5, I'll put myself at 5, just because when I left high school, I could have went to college and played any sport. I had a scholarship offer for every sport, but the last 11 years at the wide receiver position with the amount of injuries I had, and it's not just about like, you know, when you're an athlete, it's just your brand too. So I'm still representing the town. Like I'm gonna continue this legacy until they cut the microphone and the cameras off. And then the last one, man, this one's tough. I might have to go with I'll go with Nate Robinson.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say it.
I'll go with Nate Robinson, and you know, forget about what everybody talking about as of recently. I talked to Nate, and I said this on my IG. He deserves to get the criticism. You crack the jokes and all that. You're on a big stage. You get your chin checked like that. Of course, you know you got to hear it from the masses. But at the same time, let's not forget Nate Robinson left high school, was a starting cornerback and returner for the University of Washington and the starting point guard for the University of Washington. I had a conversation with him in the hood. Me and him was in the hood, posted up. This is right after he left college. And he was like, hey, yo, big bro, like, which one should I do? Like, should I go to the NBA or NFL? And me, I'm just, because I'm in the NFL, I just got some good checks. I'm like, yo, this NFL life is crazy. You should come to the NFL. And he ended up choosing the NBA. It's not even about, like, him not choosing what I told him. The reason I bring that up is because you got 2 dudes named Nate from Seattle, one Burleson, one Robinson, in the hood, South Seattle, posted up, drinking a Faygo next to a corner store, having a conversation about what professional sport should I choose to pay me millions of dollars. Like, that's ill. Right. So for me, that's my list right there.
Awesome.
Not a bad list. That's impressive. You put yourself on there. Yeah, I appreciate you putting yourself on there, because most people, you know, will either, I should be on that list, or they say, I'm not going to put myself on there because of, but, you know, the honesty, you know, I appreciate that 100%. So with that, moving to the next one. So growing up in Seattle, how was it, the atmosphere with the Sonics when they were rolling, making it to the finals with the glove, with Sean Kemp? You know, we had G on the show earlier. You know, he was telling us his stories about, you know, Seattle, how much he loved it, so on and so forth. But you've grown up there. How is that in that atmosphere?
It was different, man. It really was. Hold on, let me go grab something real quick.
He got tricks in his bag.
That's right. That's my man Nate.
I got some stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I got the GP jersey. I'm a fan. Like I'm a for real fan. I'm a fan of the culture. I'm a fan of the essence. I'm a fan of the shit talking that he approached the game with. I'm a fan of him rocking that jersey, looking up at Michael Jordan like what? Like right. I'm a fan of all that. I'm a fan of the urban legends and the myths that I heard growing up about everybody on that team. So you got to think about this young dude that seen these dudes balling on the court. The essence in Seattle was crazy because we had the Mariners. We were more of a NBA team than we were an NFL team. So the Seahawks were respected, but they weren't like the crown jewel of the Emerald City. Mm-hmm. And when like Seattle started balling, you got to think about it. It's always been culture. Like for people who aren't from the West Coast or from Seattle, they think, oh, Seattle, like it must be majority white and it's like not diverse. But the 90s were led by a supersonic team that was a group of African Americans at the driver's seat. So for me, I'm like, yo, it's GP, Sean Kemp, Nate McMillan, Xavier McDaniel, Detlef Schrempf, like, you know what I'm saying? And that was a real time for me because it was the first time I realized like the coolest dudes in the world can look just like me. And not just like me, but also act like me and talk like me. So when I got in the league and I route a dude up, and he might be like Charles Woodson or Champ Bailey or Deion Sanders. I'm looking at him like, what, bro? Like, what's up? You say something, I'm coming right back at you. I come from the city of where people talk and back it up. Like that's what I do. So that was a real cool time. I remember like specifically a moment we was in the fourth grade trying to get money for a tournament, AAU tournament, and AAU basketball was always real in Seattle as Pino, and I had to go shoot free throws. The whole team. We had 5 on one side, 5 on the other side. It's halftime of a Sonics game. And I remember being nervous. I'm just like, bro, just hit the rim, Nate. Don't embarrass yourself, bro. This is your moment. Like, I didn't think I was going to be an NBA player or NFL player. I'm like, this is your moment. I'm in the 4th grade, like, being so honest with myself. I'm like, this might be the height of your life, bro. Like, don't blow this. I'm literally, because it's like playing bump. I'm literally thinking to myself, just hit the rim, right? And like first one, I make it. You know what I'm saying? I come back around, I'm like, damn, I made the first one. And we had like the 24-second clock. Hit the second one. I'm like, this is crazy. Come back around. Boom, boom, right? Boom. I hit all 5. And I'm bugging because I'm the only one to hit 5. I'm like, this is wild. I go and I'm walking to the locker room. I'm just feeling myself. I got my little CAY jersey on. I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. And somebody was like, hey, little man. And it was Xavier McDaniel. I was like, hey, what's up? And he's like, hey, yo, you got some skills. And I was like, oh, thank you, sir. And I walked off and I was like, yo, this is a moment right here. This is a moment. So like the 90s Sonics, it was different. It was different.
Man, that's awesome. So how'd you feel when you got the opportunity to go back and actually represent Seattle when you played with the Sonics?
I was nervous when I got the opportunity to play with Seattle, bro, because like I went to Minnesota playing with Randy Moss. I put up the 1,000 yards and I was like, yo, this is easy. I get to be an exaggerated version of myself. Like every athlete knows, you just create a character. Like you're not who you are when you got in the league, because who you were was a humble kid just trying to make it. You create this exaggerated version of who you really are. And it was easy to do that in Minnesota because nobody knew me. And then when I got to Seattle, I was so nervous, man, so much anxiety. Because I remember my first game, I was like, yo, this is crazy. I feel like my 3rd grade teacher might be out there. My 4th grade girlfriend might be out there. The bully that picked on me in the 4th. Like, I'm just like making up all of these like things in my head. And I was stressed. So it took a year for me to get comfortable. And then once I got comfortable, like I felt like I owned the city. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like I was him. I felt like I was the Sonics in the 90s, to keep it a buck with you, bro. Like I was scoring touchdowns, you know what I'm saying, leading the league in certain categories. had money in my pocket. The family's good and took care of my moms. My brothers got money in their pocket. I got jewelry on. Like, you live in a athlete dream, right?
Right.
Now, at 39, I wish I could talk to like that 24-year-old, and I'm like, hey, yo, the jewelry's cool. Like, you can get that. Like, you good. The parties is cool. Like, the glam, all that's fine. The rock star, like, that's cool. But like, put 10 toes down in the city, establish yourself a little bit differently. Like, let's go after this corporate money. Like, you know what I'm saying? You could be 35 with buildings downtown instead of, 35 with $20,000 wasted in the clubs over a course of 4 or 5 years. So, it was an epic moment. I'm blessed enough to come out of that, and I could say, like, I've made that money plus some doing other things. But like, now I'm in a position where I'm like, all right, yo, for you dudes that are ball players, like, playing in cities that you're from, it's a different type of blessing, and it can be a curse, but it's a different type of blessing. So if you navigate that carefully, you could come out on the other end, like, not just to like a city legend, because people are like, yo, Nate's a legend from the town, but like, it's one thing to be like a city legend, and another thing to be like a city fixture. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Let me ask you, how was it making that transition from being a NFL wide receiver to a super TV personality now? How was that adjustment going from playing football to in front of the camera doing what you do? And congratulations on all the things you got going on. So I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mr. Fab. Now I feel like when it comes to how I transitioned out of football into TV, it was like transitioning from college to the NFL, because I was a rookie and I had my ears open more than I talked. One of my favorite scenes in the movie ever was Denzel, when he pulled over on the car in a training day and he was talking to Ethan Hawke, and he said, keep your mouth shut and your eyes open. You might learn a thing or two. I'm gonna teach you something. And like, I always thought, like, that's the first thing you should do when you enter uncharted territories. The NFL for me was uncharted. I've never been a millionaire before. I've never been a ball player at that level before. When I got to TV, it was uncharted territories. So what did I do? I just paid attention. I watched. I observed. All right, who's cooking in this industry? What makes them good? Is it their personality, or is it what they're saying? Is it because they're articulate, or is it because they're black? Is it because they dress loud, or is it because people want them to be loud? Now you start to pick and choose what applies to you. So when I got in the league, I'm like, okay, I'm playing with Randy Moss. I can learn from him every day. I see T.O. in San Francisco. He's doing his thing. I see these other slot receivers getting busy. I see Marvin Harrison with Indianapolis. Okay, all right. I can start building Nate Burleson. The same thing happened in TV. Like, I was like, all right, I see Deion Sanders. Deion got that. Well, if you look good, you play good, and play good, prime time. And I was like, let me add a little bit of that sauce to my recipe. And I saw, Michael Leary's like, well, listen, we got it because when it good, when it happened because it happened. And I'm like, all right, I got that. All right, let me. And then you see people like, Marshall Faulk, who's like, he's articulate. And he's like, well, listen, if you allow me to pontificate on the point, then I'll tell you how the precipitation of the weather can come down and actually have the inclement perception. I'm like, all right. So I see what people are doing and what makes them special, but what makes me special? So after trying to play chameleon for a year or two, I really figured out my wave. Like, my wave is like this individual West Coast kid that's not shy about how he was raised, that's not shy about the dark places in his past. It's not afraid to talk about the very corporate side of him versus the very hood side of him. A guy that's willing to allow people to see the culture in him and not shy away from some of these hard topics that I feel like people of color tend to do. Not so much anymore, but did when I first came in the game. So it took me a while to transition from being a ball player who's talking about football to being Nate Burleson, who can talk about everything.
Right. So for those out there that don't know, Nate comes from a very, I would say, athletic family, right? Like, brothers play sports, brothers are professionals, himself, so on and so forth. So my question, like, how was that growing up, Nate? Like, all of you guys are successful. And it's funny because, you know, knowing you all these years, it's like, yeah, okay, I know Nate. And it's like, well, I got a little brother. Oh, I got another brother. Oh,
yeah.
Now my brother-in-law. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, how is that on game night in the family, everybody's kicking it? How does that work being all competitive athletes?
It was competitive, man. It really was. I had an older brother who played at the University of Washington, and then the older brother between me and him played at University of Minnesota, played with the Charlotte Bobcats for a couple of years, and he's now coaching with the Timberwolves. And then my younger brother, who was the most athletic, and I spoiled him like crazy. He went to Nevada, Reno, and then went overseas and played ball. And then my wife's little brother was Arizona State Player of the Year. He went to Indiana and played overseas. So athletics run deep. And, you know, and my wife, of course, ran track. But, like, in the house growing up, like, it was every day was an argument or a fight or something competitive, you know? Like, it was physical. My oldest brother, he used to torture us. And we used to be like, man, we hate you, man. But then as you get older, you realize, like, that made you tough. But it was real. Like, everything could be solved with the competition. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I love about, you know, being in a household where the parents don't shy away from those awkward moments. I got 2 kids. Right now they're 16 and 14, little Nate and Nehemiah. And I remember when they were young, they would get into it. And, like, my wife would be like, break it up. Or she'd go to jump in. And it'd be like a real dramatic scene in the movie. I'd be like, no, let him go. Figure it out. Let him figure this out. And then she'd be like, what? Like, so, but it'd be good, though, because you see some tears, some fighting, some swinging.
Right.
But at the end of it, like, they're going to come out of it, like, more competitive, more fiery, and more willing to not let that happen again. And what I kept emphasizing was the same thing that I learned when I was younger. I tell my kids what I learned in the household was, you can fight as much as you want in the house, but once you leave the house, like, we're a family, we're a union. Right. So, like, I don't care how mad you are with your brother. I don't care if y'all getting into something. I don't care if he got your drawers on that day and you want to beat him up. If he get into it with somebody outside these walls, we gotta have each other's back. So, right. For me, like, growing up in a household, it really made me competitive, and it made me fearless when it came to competition. Like, stepping on the field next to Randy Moss, who at that time was the best receiver in the game. It wasn't even close. Like, I was like, all right, I might not be Randy, but I can hold my own. You crazy? I got something for you. Because I'm the third on the list. So, like, the third child always had to do the most, which is why I am the way I am now. Like, which is why I, like, do crazy stuff with my hair, and I talk the way I talk, and I write poetry, and I rap. And so I used to try to figure out all these different ways to express myself. So, like, now, like, if I'm in a room with a whole bunch of big dogs, I'm going to figure out a way to bark the loudest. That's just who I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I remember.
You say you started off your career playing with Randy Moss, and you ended your career playing with Calvin Johnson. What was that like, playing with Megatron?
Man, Randy, I thought to myself, he was the most athletic player I've ever played with, because he was Olympic speed fast and he could hoop. Like, Randy could hoop. He had a whole Jordan court in his house. He used to get up there and cook dudes. And then I remember just being comfortable, like, man, I put up 1,000 yards next to the GOAT. Like, I'm good. 4 years later, I get signed to Detroit. I go to practice the first day after hearing rumors about Calvin Johnson, how big he is. And I played against him one time. And, like, I remember being in Seattle with the Seahawks, and the Detroit Lions came to us. This is a year before I became a free agent. And I'm cooking a game, and I'm talking crazy. I remember catching a ball, and I'm, like, right by the first down signal, and, like, linebackers and safeties is coming, and I'm looking at them, and, like, I could go down because I already got the first down, but I'm doing the first down. As I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I got the first. And I eat the hit, though. I eat it just because I was like, yeah, I got the boom. And I get up, I was like, it's still a first down. What's up? Right? So, like, after the game, I remember they coach was, and you really can't say this now, but I'm retired, so they can't do anything about it. But their coach was like, oh, yeah, Nate, what's up? I was like, look, I'm a free agent next year. Come get me. And they was like, huh? It was like Earl Thomas before on Thomas, like, literally walking around. But the funniest part about the game is I'm out there doing punt return, and they had just threw a long ball to Calvin on the sideline, and he got rocked by our safety. I think it was Ken Hamlin or somebody, or Jordan Babineau, smacked him on the sideline. And I went out there for punt return. So I'm running out there, and, like, Calvin just got hit, boom, like, right here on my left. And I'm out there, like, getting my whole thing set up for punt return. I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? You all right, big fella? And, like, he was on the ground and he had got hit, so he's like still picking himself up off the ground. And no joke, say like you guys are me, like your eyesight is me. Like this was Calvin like this on the ground. He was just like, oh, he's like, yeah, I'm good. And he got up and he was like this. He's like, yeah, I'm good, little fella. And like, hey, and I was like this. Oh, and I remember walking to the sideline just like a little kid. And I went to Deion Branch. I was like, hey, Deion, bro, you see how big Calvin is? And he was like, Deion was like, yeah, that's a big ass dude. And so that was my first time ever seeing him. And then I get to practice, and I'm like, yo, this dude is nasty. And we got to the press conference and like, Nate, man, happy to have you. Signed a new contract, blah, blah, blah. And then one reporter was like, hey, we had Charles Rogers, who passed away, rest in peace. We had Roy Williams. How does Calvin stack up? In minutes, Detroit has been striking out with receivers. Is he really legit? Is he a number one guy? And I was like, bro, are y'all watching the practice? Like, this dude is about to take over the league. I was like, I'll put my career on it. He's the best receiver in the league this year. I guarantee it. And like 2 years later, he broke Jerry Rice's record for most yards in the season. So like playing with those two dudes was unreal because God hit them with the special stick. God was like, yo, hops, speed, height, big hands, versatility, toughness, strength. But like what made them different, especially Calvin, was that they took all that and they were like, I'm about to add on to it with work ethic, which was unbelievable to watch every day. Every day, this dude working like he was a free agent, like he was trying to make the team. Like we would have these summer like hangouts, get tipsy, get drunk at the crib, cook out, all that. And I remember walking to the facility and we're like, yo, we got to sweat this out in the morning on the day off. You know how every pro athletes do. The whole group of wide receivers walking to the sauna. Everybody walking to the sauna. Ew, so Calvin go walk the other direction. I'm like, where you going? And this ain't like we like had a couple drinks, like we dragging. And it's summer, you know, we ain't got no games. And like he walking the opposite direction. I'm like, yo, CJ, where you going? He's like, man, we said we about to sweat it out. I'm about to go hit this treadmill. I'm like, man, he different. He different.
Right.
Wow, that's crazy. So with that, like, do you, from the start to finish of your career, would you change anything? Would you, add something or take something away? Would you do something different? Or are you happy with how your career started and how it ended?
I'm happy with what I got out of it because it created this hunger to be successful post-career. Now, with that said, would I change? Yeah, hell yeah, I would change something. I think the whole like, I won't change anything. It made me who I am. That's true to a certain extent. But I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't want to talk to young Nate and be like, bro, you know the millions you made? I can give you a cheat code to quadruple that. Like, it ain't even about football. Like, I do feel like if I would have took care of my body a little bit more, if I would have been deeply in love with the game so much, I was Kobe Bryant obsessed with the game, Michael Jordan obsessed with the game. If I would have been that obsessed with the game, I honestly believe I would have been a Hall of Famer, which sounds crazy, right? But like, I got injured almost every other year. Played 11 years. Teams kept picking me up. In bad years, I put up 800 yards. And that's with like missing 3 or 4 games. So like in a healthy year, I'm going to give you 1,000. I'm going to give you a rack easy. I could jump a 43-inch vertical. I can run a 4.4. I can catch the ball. I can play outside, inside. I can block my ass off. So like now that I look back, if I would have just like turned off everything, like I'm talking about the noise and been like, yo, for 10 years, bro, I'm talking about like obsessed with football, I would have easily been a Hall of Famer. That doesn't bother me as much as me telling myself, yo, you know that money you made? And I made some good money and I stacked good money away. Like I was one of those guys that I was a businessman early. Mm-hmm. But like, I'm so fascinated with being an icon from a corporate standpoint. It's the reason why I launched 3 clothing lines and a restaurant, and I've been a financial advisor for a handful of, like, I'm more fascinated in having a Hall of Fame business career than I am an athletic career. So would I change something? Yeah. I would talk to young 21-year-old Nate, be like, yo, listen, man, all that stuff you want to buy right now, just hold on for a decade. Give me a decade. Like all that money you want to waste right now, give me a decade. Them trips you want to take and make right now, I'll tell you how to make them, but also invest in the places you're going. So when you land, that's your property versus renting from somebody else. All them places that you go and you like to hit the resorts and be the man on the hotel walkway and people, hey, Mr. Burleson, I'll teach you how to build condos and actually own spaces that people rent from. I would have told that young Nate, like, man, yo, this is a vehicle for you to get to somewhere else. Like, being in the NFL, being in professional sports, all it is just one thing to get to another. So, would I change something? I would just change my approach. You know what I'm saying? Like, I came up like a fat rat. I'm blessed and I'm thankful. I made some good money in the league, and I was able to stack that, invest that, and double that. But what if I was able to quadruple that? That's a whole different conversation. So that's what I'm telling these young fellas.
Absolutely.
So you saying you telling these young fellas, do you have a mentorship?
I do have a mentorship program for guys that are in the league, guys that are transitioning out of the league, because that's the biggest thing, because guys don't usually know what to do after their professional sports career. I've been a financial advisor. I'm a partner in a firm that helps athletes invest their money. I was the first athlete, and immediately after I saw the success of what my financial advisor was helping me understand about investing, and then me learning myself about being able to market my brand, we kind of created this lane where we could help athletes invest their money properly. So yeah, it's a mentorship, but it's trifold. Years ago, I'm a big trademark guy. If I have an idea, I'm gonna trademark it. I'm gonna copyright it. I'm gonna make sure that I'm protected when it comes to my intellectual property. And like I realized, like, these athletes were leaving the game and they're like, yo, what network should I sign with? I'm like, oh, go sign with ESPN. That fits you. Or you should sign with NBC. Like, that's your speed. You should come to the NFL Network. Like, you know, we're creative that way. Another guy's like, yo, I want to start a clothing line. I'm like, oh yeah, I got this connect overseas. I got this suit guy in Florida. And I realized, like, oh damn, I don't launch 3 clothing lines. Another guy's like, yo, I want to work in music. And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I recorded like 5 tracks as an artist for the NFL, as an individual artist, not as a talent that's on TV. And I used to ghostwrite when I was playing under an alias. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'll hook you up with a couple of producers. What you want to do? You want to be behind the scenes, in front of the mic? And then they're like, oh, I want to get in real estate. And I'm like, oh yeah, I bought a restaurant. And I did. So I would do this for like 5 years. And I would push these athletes and personalities to all these different places. And I would hand off people's careers. You know how it is. You hand off an athlete to an agent. He's getting a solid 10% of that dude's future earnings. And all they do is take me to a steak dinner. You know what I'm saying? An athlete leaves and he drops a record label or an album, and that producer who's eating off of it on iTunes, he might be like, oh, no, let's go to the club and turn up. He pop a bottle with me. Now I realize, like, I'm not getting compensated properly. So I was like, if I have all the knowledge, I'm the one these guys are going to. And even when I send them off, they're still underneath the Nate Burleson umbrella.
Right.
Like, why am I giving away all of the goods? You know what I'm saying? So I created something called Watch, which is We Are the Culture House. And it was like, people say, I'll do it for the coach. I'll do it for the culture. Like, I've always done it for the culture. I've never hit somebody up and been like, yo, you need me? I'm doing it for bread. Holla, I need to check. Or if an athlete's like, yo, Nate, I need you to take care of me. I'm like, all right, well, here's how much it costs. I've never done that. So I'm like, I've been for the culture. Now, how do I make that something that is sustainable? And I created an umbrella where people can live in a very comfortable space where we can empower. It's really what LeBron started doing, which is why I commend him, because he's like, yo, I'm about to create this umbrella company that really empowers the athlete.
Yeah, that is true. You know, it's funny, you know, that you said that, because I'll never forget when I was working for Marcus and we came to Minnesota, and Nate had come to Minnesota, and I was like, yo, they went out of town, and I'm like stuck. And they was like, don't worry, where you at? I'm like, I'm at the hotel. Came pick me up. I was like, I gotta wash clothes. He's like, I got you. Got to the house. Like, his wife, Toy, she was like, man, I got you, nut. Like, just throw it in here, whatever. She cooked, we ate, and it was just funny because it's like, you go to college with people, everybody has their own, you know, different lives and lane. And Nate's right. Like, it was never like, yo, Peanut, do this. I'm gonna do this for you because later in life, I'm gonna need you to do something for me. It's never been like that. When I made the call, even for tonight, he was like, I was like, well, they want to do it tonight. They was like, cool, send me the info, like do it tonight.
Right.
You know, always been like a stand-up guy. Even I was telling Mo, I went to Seattle with G. He had to do some stuff, so I was like, oh yeah, I'll roll. Nate, I'm here. I even think Toya might have been pregnant at the time, and y'all rolled up to the steakhouse. It was like, yo, we got like an hour in us. You know what I'm saying? Like they came, they spoke, you know, we laughed, we joked, and it's like you've always been like a stand-up dude, and like, you know, to see like the people that I cherish in my life. You know what I mean? Even, you know, with your brother KB, my brother's in the league. Holla at him, like, you know, you good. Every time I see KB, it's like laugh, jokes. You know what I mean? It's like, I know your brother, I don't know you, but your brother was like, no, he's good. You know what I mean? So it's like, he's always been a stand-up dude, and that's like, you know, that's
and vice versa.
And vice
versa.
It's like
you
you're
do the same way,
for the
bro.
culture. Yeah, 100%, man. Like, you know, it's like you do it for the culture, and it's like that's cool because it's like you don't want anything. And a lot of athletes that I know, not that they want something, but it's almost like
they expect it though.
Yeah, they expect it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like to find. And I've been fortunate. The people that I do hang out with, they don't think like that.
But that's the energy you put out though too. You know what I mean? Like, so like what you receive is what you put out. So it's reciprocated, man. And you've been like that from the very jump, bro. And that's the one thing I can't say. Like, even just chopping it up with you now, watching each other's career from a distance, like we can look at each other from a distance and be like, damn, we ain't never changed. Like, we the same dudes.
Yeah.
Like, we the same dudes that was sitting there hitting the cafe, struggling, trying to put together a meal. We the same dudes trying to flirt with these girls, don't know who's. So you hollering at her, who's hollering at who? Can I get? Did you hit it? Because I might try. What's up? I mean, let me know what's. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's that. Like, we the same dudes, and I think that's how we should always be. Like, what we're going through or what we have should never define who we are.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Do you have a mentorship program for struggling podcast hosts and trying to be a clothing
Where's that
designer?
lane at? Where's that lane?
Do you have a mentorship for anybody that's not a former athlete?
Listen, here's the thing about people transitioning. See, when I was talking, I said transitioning out of college. I didn't say people were athletes. I didn't say transitioning. And it doesn't have to be transitioning. I had people reach out to me and was like, yo, I don't even think I'm going to college. I might just go into the workforce. Like, think about the people that are more respected nowadays. I'm talking about the instant millionaires and billionaires. You look at the people from Amazon to Microsoft to Apple. Like, are these college graduates? Like, nah. Like, so when somebody says like, yo, man, I don't know what I'm doing next. I might not be an athlete. I might not be a college graduate. I'm like, bro, I don't care. Or young lady, I don't care about your title. I don't care about your resume. I don't care about your level. To keep it a buck, and this may sound bad, I don't care about your level of education. Now, and I'm not dogging the educational system. I kind of am past high school, but I feel like if you are not specifically going after something and that college doesn't give you that in that lane, then why are you wasting your time? I say all that to say this. You're not struggling because you're here now. And at the end of the day, if you peanut people, you my people. So if anything I can do, I'm going to extend my hand and I got you, fam.
That's what's up, man. I appreciate that.
True.
Much love.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely. So let me ask you this, Nate, before we move on to the last segment. When it comes to the boys, first, how tall is Nehemiah? I seen him in a picture the other day, and I'm like,
yeah, I'm a solid 6'1" and some change. Nehemiah is 6'3" and a half. He said he was 6'4", which he's 14. And then Nate, who's 16, Nate's now 6'2". He's taller than me. So, it's crazy because I knew they both would get some height. And I think Nehemiah shot up past Nate early. And I think Nate is about to come. He's coming to get him because my wife's little brother is 6'7". So, we got some height in the family, but
you got a chance.
We got a chance. We got a chance. And I told him, I said, look, I'm gonna whoop y'all ass on the court, on the football field, but until I can't. And then now, like, they're at the point now where when they're like, Dad, you want to go hit the court? I'm like, nah, you got it. You got it.
I'll watch from afar. Because
I don't even want to take the L. At least I can say, like, we didn't try it. But, like, once they actually whoop up on me on the court, you can't do nothing after that.
You can't undo that.
You can't undo that.
How tall is your wife?
My wife is 5'9". So she's 5'9", good height, track star. Yeah. And my daughter, she's 10 and she's already tall, man. She wears like a size 8 woman. So we got some height in the family, man, which is good. That moment where they both like walked past me in the kitchen and they was tall. It's like a proud daddy moment. It's like,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, I got that good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got that the Mufasa genes. You know what I mean?
So going back to being competitive, so our household, Gary, of course, myself, baller, me, 100% baller.
Right.
The boys, my daughter, she was not a baller, but she tried to be competitive. We would be so competitive that we call it the ghetto Olympics at the house. We would play everything you can name on. Believe me, we was in the kitchen playing jacks. Me, Mr. Payton, I don't remember who else, but we were just playing. We can play anything. I don't care what.
And really get mad about it.
Yeah, and get mad, especially the dad. Like, we are competitive and we all talk shit, like all of us. But just going back to you being competitive, we the same type of family.
That's how it should be.
So we played the newlyweds game.
Yeah.
So it was a bunch of us, right? And so the question was, what superhero name would you name your spouse? I said Captain Save-A-Ho. And he quit so fast, so mad, he was done. Like, everybody get out, start vacuuming, cleaning shit. People gotta go. I was like, you were a poor sport.
He went full Martin. You ain't gotta go, but you
gotta get out of here.
You gotta go home. You gotta get, okay. I can already tell what was behind all that. So,
so funny.
With that, Nate, we appreciate you. Now we're gonna move on to, we got this game, 21 questions. How it works is, Mo's gonna ask you questions. You get 8 seconds to answer each question. There's 21 of them. Try to get past 4. That's a tough one. 9 is the top dog. So what we want you to do is, she'll ask them, you answer. It's a wrap. All right.
Wait, okay. So after the 8 seconds, it's over.
No. You get 8 seconds each one.
Oh, so like I gotta get it right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And if you don't,
okay.
It's over.
It's over.
It's over. It's a wrap.
Okay, you ready?
So Mo, do your thing.
All right. Number 1, 10 plus 1.
11.
Ricky, Bobby, Ralph, Ronnie, Mike is what not R&B group?
New Edition.
Michael Jordan Michael Jordan played in how many NBA teams?
2.
Question?
Yeah, ask it. He's going, hey.
Okay, what number 4, what is Rudy Huxtable's real name? I just knew Nate was going to get this.
Hey.
Come on, Nate. We give you 15 seconds.
Rudy Huxtable. Why would you put this one at number 4?
Hey, somebody survived it. So
somebody went to 9.
Why don't you say Claire Huxtable? I don't even know. I gotta keep it a buck. I'm mad about this too, because I know
I'm mad too. That's why I looked at them. I'm like, should I ask 4 or should I move it?
Hey man, things happen.
Okay, well, her name is Keisha Knight Pullman.
Keisha Knight Pullman. Okay, I got that was tough. That's a good number 4 though.
I know.
Right. Because the thing is, the first one kind of sets you up. Wow, what's 10 plus 1? 11.
Right.
Like, that's how easy it is. And then it gets
all right, brother. I know I'm out the game, but just let me hear the next 4. Just
it doesn't
work like
that. What you mean?
You got to come back on the show.
I hear him again anyway.
That's
you
not true.
Come back on the show.
Because,
okay, all right.
Yeah, because we're gonna plan to have a big one. You know, a big meeting with everybody. And just go from there. So.
Okay, all right, cool. I don't need to know then. I'm gonna win that next time.
We'll see.
Hey, maybe you should watch the show.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Nate.
All right, Raven Simone. I'll watch the show.
Hey, Nate, let me ask you something. What is something that people don't know about you that you would like to tell? If anything,
I'm
any
a poet.
hobbies or something?
I'm a poet. Like I like to write. Like I like to write a lot. I think that's the best way for me to exercise my emotions and it's a way for me to tap into my creative side.
You got something you want to share?
Man, I always got something. Let me see. I got something I just wrote recently, man. Let me see. I got something for y'all, man. Get y'all
good. We put Tretch on the spot, and he came out like on fire.
He came out on fire?
Yes,
fire.
He did.
He
had some bars for us.
Tretch dropped bars for us.
He did? Okay. All right. Listen, I wrote a little something that was it was more about like me having a conversation with myself about 2020. You know, we've all had that like, damn man, 2020 is crazy. All right, so it's like me looking in the mirror like, man, 2020 it's all bad. And then my mirror reflection responds, look, Nate, it'd be an understatement to say that I feel you. But 2020 took its best shot and didn't kill you, but still you. Stand strong. It's a challenge, but don't lose your balance like when you putting your pants on, so dance on. Yeah, like nobody's watching. I'm a public figure, but in public, nobody's talking. I wish I could take this mask off like Future, but I'm more afraid of what this mask on produces like Jim Carrey, these scary times. But even in the midst of the storm, I'm doing Halle Berry fine. Nip, Kobe, and Chadwick gone way too soon. Why do sunflowers wilt before they bloom? So make every moment matter to your last breath. It all adds up in the end like a math test. Because when it rains, it pours, then the thunder comes. We all love a plot twist till we're under one. I don't need this year back like a boomerang. Too much of a bad thing. You don't move the same. Remember, December's closer than we think. So New Year's 2021, we'll toast and take a drink. For real.
Oh.
Hey, my man, Nate.
That was a bomb diggity.
That was dope.
Nice.
Hey,
I appreciate
Nate,
that.
We definitely do. So, Nate, this is where we come to the end of the show, man. Like, we definitely appreciate you. You know, obviously, we'll be in contact.
Yeah.
But, you know, blessings, man, to your family, you know, especially, you know, Toya. You know, both of you guys.
Of course.
As I always call her, Mrs. Burleson. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So, hey,
Of course.
the whole family, man, like I truly from the bottom of my heart, man, I appreciate you always, and you know, we thank you for being on the show, brother.
No doubt about it, man. I appreciate you being you. Anytime you need me, you know the vibe.
Absolutely.
Nice.
All right, Fresh. All right, Mo, I'm gonna holla at you.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in to the Outta Pocket Show. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube at Outta Pocket Show. Until next time, peace.